Hi, Brad with ATS Pro. I've finally got my hands on the Sprolink NeoLIVE R2. It's a brand new video switcher with a built-in multi-viewer and so much more. First off, let's talk about the build quality. This is not a plastic case. I was so surprised when I took it out. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. It is absolutely gorgeous. It has a nice metal case. You know, you can hear it. And it's really hefty too. So when you put it on your desk, it isn't going anywhere. It's got these knobs here. They feel great. These are detent knobs. And what's great about these knobs is when you turn them, you'll feel the increment that you're changing the setting that you're doing. It's kind of like an old 1970s tuner, you know, from Techniques or whatever, and you just turn that volume, it feels great. Now these are multifunctional too, so on the volume, if I press it in, and right now I got the volume muted. Now you can see on the meters, you can hear it. I've got a little speaker here, and the volume is now up, and I can change the volume level. I can feel it, you know, you feel it, you're changing it. So multifunctional buttons, each one of these have their own function, and they're kind of soft assignable, so depending on what mode you're in, it happens, you know, it'll get set for the proper settings. Now the T-bar is another nice little feature here that you don't see a lot on these. The T-bar allows me to switch between the inputs. Now, if you go in the middle here, you can stop between the two, right? And that will go for whatever effect I have set. So I can go through my different effects here, and let's say I want to do a circle light, right? So I can just position it just right. Let's talk about the inputs and outputs on the NeoLIVE R2. So on the back here, we have a locking power plug. Over here I have a still store and control USB port. Now this gets sent to my computer, and that's how I transfer all the software updates. Over next to the still USB port is the HDMI ports. I've got 4 HDMI 1080p inputs. And what's great about these is they support HDCP copy protection. You also have 2 outputs here. You have an HDMI output and a USB streaming 3.0 output. This comes up as a web camera on your computer, and you can record the output of the NeoLIVE R2 right into your computer through QuickTime. It's pretty cool. Now on the side here, we have our audio. So we have a headphone jack. Next to that, we have 2 line inputs. These are for, you know, your iPod, maybe playing some background music, and your lav mic, you know, stuff like that. And then over here, I've got another output. This is a line level output. What's really cool is I use this all the time for trade show presentations. So you can take this output here and plug it into a powered speaker, and now you can do a presentation with it using the microphone, your little headset microphone, plugged into here, then going out to the monitor, and then switching all your inputs and outputs. So let's say I want to switch back to the LED board. We can output that. Let's talk about this multi-viewer. So I've switched my output here to show me my multi-viewer output. So that's what's cool about the HDMI and the USB is you can switch your outputs. Now on my multi-view at the top, I've got my preview screen here. Over here, I've got my program screen. That's whatever I'm feeding out to the LED board or to my stream. And then over here, I've got my inputs. I've got camera 1, camera 2. These are my pan tilt zoom cameras. And then here, I've got my iPhone hooked up through the little Apple HDMI connector to the input here. And there I'm playing Keynote with a basic green screen video I downloaded from the web. And finally, I've got an Amazon Fire Stick. And I can guarantee you an Amazon Fire Stick is HDCP compliant. So if you plug it into a lot of the switches out there, it's not going to work without getting some type of HDCP stripping device, which is adding one more piece of gear into your rig. You can see my audio meters are on screen as well. So if I go into output, you can hear that, and you can see it right here. That's my main program feed. Below that, I have my timer. Right now I'm doing a countdown timer, and I can switch that to be a clock. This is actually great because I've just set that earlier for 15 minutes and it's doing a countdown. Now I can change that really easily by going into my menuing system. So I don't have to plug a computer in to change the settings on this system. Everything is self-contained right here. So So I can just go way down to the bottom and go into time settings. Now I'm going to switch my timer to be countdown timer off. Hit my menu button again and again to get out. And now I've got my actual clock on. So I've got 2 background slots, so I can input 2 different background images and use those for backdrops. And then finally, I've got my effects section right here. So if I click on effects, I can switch through those and choose any one I want. So I can switch through this and then zoop, zoop. It's really great having a multi-viewer built into the system. I've never had one before. And now that I have it, it's a game changer. I don't think I could buy a switcher without having the multi-viewer built in. And like I said, you can also, if you want a bigger one, you can route your output right to any monitor through any of these 2 outputs, either through your computer, laptop, or through your HDMI output. Now the NeoLIVE has a couple different switching modes built into it. One is called fast switching, and the other one is scene-based switching. Fast switching is basically this. You're switching between whatever camera or whatever input really quickly, right? And that's great if you're doing a wedding or you're doing a band or a concert. The other mode is a game changer. That's called scene-based switching. Now, scene-based switching is usually a mode found in really expensive switchers. I've not seen it really in a switcher at this price category before, and it was really a surprising thing to find. And it is a game changer. If you want to give yourself the competitive edge, this is definitely the way to go. And it's all controlled and set up within this one system. You don't need some external computer to do that. I can't stress that enough. What you need to do is you need to click the scene button, and then we need to pick the scene that we want to do. So let's say I want to do this. Now I'm side by side with the video game, and notice I'm not stretched or anything like that. So we have 2 channels of picture-in-picture, and we can put that in there, and then we can crop that piece instead of stretching the piece. What I mean by stretching would be something like this, which is totally weird. And so I'm going to go back to normal mode, and that keeps our aspect ratio. So we can do it. It looks more like a professional news that you're doing. You can also do something like this. This is great for presentations. You can see your different presets down here, and I can click on this one, which is great. So you have the main person presenting. Hi, Brad Eisenhower, and I'm driving my DeLorean here. In case you didn't know it, I actually do own a DeLorean, and they do not go that fast. So there you go. So now we've gone through our scene presets. We're gonna make our own scene, and I'll show you how that's done. So I've got the girl with the green screen, and I want to use my key function to get rid of the green background. To do that, you click and hold on key, and that's it. Now I want to resize her. So I've got scale right here, so I can scale her down. And you just push down to scale, and then you got position as well. So I'm going to scale her up a little more. So right about there. And then I can go my up and down position just like this. So in the system, we have 2 layers, layer A and B. A is your foreground layer, B is your background layer. Think about that, B for background, right? So I go B, and there's my video. If I want to change the input to that layer, I can switch any of those things. So I've got the video game playing, I've got her playing. In the foreground layer, that's A. B for background layer, that's the video. If I turn that off, then I actually see the background, right? So now I'm gonna switch between one scene and the other. So this is a preset scene that I have up here, and then I can switch between this scene, right? Or I could call a preset scene up for full screen and just change my source to the full screen to be the video game, and then bring her in and out of the video game, just like that. So that's scene-based switching. It's super powerful and really is a game changer, and it's really easy to do. And you can save your own scenes and have up to 6 scenes for instant recall right here in the front panel. Now I want to talk to you about camera control. This NeoLIVE R2 supports up to 4 different pan tilt zoom cameras. And you're probably wondering how you can do that. So to do that, right next to the key button is the PTZ button. If you click and hold on that, you'll see you've got different cameras, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm on camera 1. I can zoom in, zoom out. Now I can also recall presets as well. So to do that, you have the preset area here, and you save those presets. So I could say camera 2, preset number 2. It'll zoom right in. So that's how you control the cameras through the pan tilt zoom control. hooking up the Ethernet to a switch, and then hooking up the switch to each one of your cameras. You can control up to 4 cameras. It's really pretty awesome. Now we're going to talk about my favorite subject, audio. I go way back in the audio business, so I'm a little critical when it comes to audio, and the Sprolink NeoLIVE R2 does not disappoint. So what you have is audio follows video mode, which basically allows you to switch the cameras and stuff, and the audio will follow that source. And then we have this fixed mode. Now the fixed mode is pretty cool because that's like an audio mixer. We have 2 channels of audio, channel A and B, right? And we can route any of the inputs to any of those channels. So I'm going to bring up channel A, and I'm going to click and hold it to bring up my audio router. So right now that's getting input 1. I'm going to switch it to input 4. Now you hear my racing game, right? And then if I had a microphone hooked up, I could bring that up to channel B, and now I've got a microphone for my talking, my lavalier mic or my boom mic, and then I've got my game as well. Another thing with the audio is you've got volume control, right? So I can control the volume main output. I can mute it. I can also control the level of the input as well just by clicking on it and then changing the input level. And you see we've got on-screen meters as well for that. Now one more feature about the audio that I want to cover is going into the menus and going into our audio section, and I can put in my input delay. So I've got all my different HDMI inputs and my auxes. Now why you want that is because analog signals and HDMI signals, if they're coming from different cameras and stuff, different manufacturers, might have a slight delay in the audio, and we can compensate for that delay by using the delay right there. All right, it's time to start streaming. The NeoLIVE has you covered when it comes to streaming. All you need to do is connect the USB cable to your computer, and it comes up as a webcam. This allows you to use any streaming service like OBS, Zoom, YouTube, Twitch. Any application that supports a webcam will support the NeoLIVE R2. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to stream to YouTube using my favorite streaming app, StreamYard. So to do this, we launch StreamYard, and all we need to do is switch from our FaceTime HD camera to our NeoLIVE streaming switcher. And there it is. Close that dialog box and enter the studio. And check this out, we're going to go live. So we can go in here and view it on YouTube. Well, this wraps up my tour of the Sprolink NeoLIVE R2. I appreciate you watching until the end. I hope the tour was informative. I will be creating more in-depth training videos because there's a lot more to cover. So do not forget to subscribe to the ATS Pro channel. Now, question. Does it make sense to check out the Sprolink NeoLIVE for yourself? You can visit www.ats-pro.com for more information on where to purchase, or call us at 800-755-3235. Thanks for watching.